done. Alright, so for our topic this afternoon for chapter 6, we will discuss email messages, web writing, and technology. So for the learning objectives, Miss Mohika, can you please read? Thank you, Miss Mohika. So, class, these are the learning objectives that you should be able to acquire at the end of our discussion. So, as part of the business communication, you should be able to know how to properly write emails, messages using technology that we are using nowadays. Okay. So, moving forward, what are the communication technology and information flow in an organization? So as you can see in this era where technology and digitalizations are a mass, we are also need to follow those development and growth when it comes to our communications in our organization. So as you can see nowadays, we are already paperless, meaning most of the informations or communications that we are transferring from our colleagues, from our clients, from our stakeholders are already paperless. Meaning we are using computers, we are using our cell phones, and the different equipments that we have. Diba? If way back before, kapag kailangan nating mag-send ng informations or ng letters, we write it on a paper and then we will mail it, and it takes a lot of days, months, or even years bago yun ma-receive ng receiver. But nowadays, paperless na tayo. Using your mobile phone, through Messenger, through WhatsApp, through Instagram, through Facebook, you can already send or exchange messages real time. Okay, that's what we call it is paperless. Also, before, the data or the informations, in order for us to save it or to store it, kailangan pa nating i-print, tapos imamano-mano natin siyang i-file. But nowadays, meron na tayong cloud systems where we can save our datas and informations through Google Drive, through USBs, so on and so forth. That's why communication technology nowadays are uh, efficient and effective when we are transferring informations from one another. Okay? So now, when to send an email? Okay, kailan ba dapat tayo nagsesend ng email? Okay, so the first one is informal communication. When we say informal communication, within the organization, you need to follow up a certain proposal or a certain information to your colleagues. And one of the means of communication in business or in an organization is via email. So, through informal communication, you can send an email to your colleagues such as, Dear Mr. Santiago, I would like to follow up on the updates of the proposal that I've sent you 2 weeks ago. That's informal communication. If you are asking follow up or updates on the proposals or anything that you've sent to your colleagues inside your organization. Another one is requests for information or action. So for example, you are the manager in the hotel and you sent an email to your subordinates or to your team asking for them uh, to create a proposal or something for your department. Then, pwede kang mag-send ng email sa kanila or pwede kang mag-email sa kanila asking for that actions or requests. Another example is follow-ups. So as I mentioned earlier, you can send email to your colleagues, to your suppliers, or to your stakeholders kapag meron kang gustong i-follow up or i-check kung ano na ba yung update dun sa hinihingi mo. Next is we also have external communication. So when we say external communication, from its word external, outside. So you are sending emails from the outside. So maybe you are sending email to your suppliers, to your clients, to your customers. And lastly, document sharing. So in the future, after your graduation, you are going to find your first job. That's why you're going to send an email to different organizations such as airline, cruise line, travel agency, hotel. You will send them your resume or your curriculum vitae. That's what we call document sharing. You are sharing your information to them for them to check and analyze if you are fit for the position or for the qualification. So these are some of the reason why do we need to send or when to send an email. Next, when to send a memo. So kanina we discussed kailan dapat tayo nagsesend ng email. Ngayon, kailan ba dapat tayo nagsesend ng memo? Okay, so in a previous discussion, we discussed what is a memo. Okay, when we say a memo, it is an announcement or a details where an organization is announcing to the employees or to the subordinates of an organization. So, kailan natin siya dapat ginagawa? Una, formal announcement. When we say formal announcement, there are important priorities or informations that you need to cascade or disseminate to your team. For example, naaprubahan na yung salary increase ninyo. So that's a formal announcement. That's the time that you will create a memo and announcing to all of the employees that the salary increase was approved by the management. So, formal announcement. Another is internal communication. When we say internal communication, um, halimbawa, ang isang department, housekeeping department, merong maintenance yung department nila and they need to announce it to the other department. Then, they will create a memo for them to announce that there is a maintenance in their department. Kaya siya tinawag na internal communication. Why? Because housekeeping department will send a memo inside the organization. Hindi lumalabas ng organization. Nasa loob lang din yung pagsesenda nila ng memo or ng announcement. Okay? And next is detailed information. For example, ng detailed information, you're going to have a new uniform or sets of uniform for your airline. And the airline needs to have an announcement. Then, they can create a memo, a detailed informations, paano gagawin, saan magsusukat, kailan i-distribute, sino yung magsho-shoulder ng payment, so on and so forth. So, if there are a lot of details in the memo from who, when, where, why, how, that's a detailed information. Another one is record keeping. So, for the sake lang na ito yung proof na ikaw ay nag-announce, kailangan mo siyang i-memo. Para if time comes na sinabi nila, ay hindi ka naman nag-announce wala ka namang sinabi, you have a proof. May ipapakita ka. Nag-announce ako, meron akong memo na ginawa noong December 25, 2020. These are the memo. So, record keeping yon. It serves as a proof so that if there are times na hanapin siya ng mga employees, meron kang ipapakita. Okay? And lastly, larger audience size. Okay? Meaning, instead na i-announce mo siya isa-isa, kausapin mo isa-isa yung bawat employees, i-memo mo na lang. Okay? Para isahan na lang. So, all of them will receive that announcement or that memo. Okay? Class, do you follow? Okay, I cannot see you in my screen. That's why I am asking. So, moving forward, class, what are the general tips, okay, when you are sending a memo and an email? Ano ba dapat yung lagi nyong tatandaan when you become part of the organization and the management assigned you? O, Carissa, you create a memo and an email. Now, what are the tips that you need to take in consideration when you are creating those memo and emails? The first one, class, you consider the urgency. Meaning, kapag pinagawa ka, gawin mo siya agad. For example, sabi ng manager mo, o Carissa, you create an email. You send it to our supplier na madidelay yung delivery natin due to some technical errors. urgent yon. Kailangan mo yung i-announce agad or i-email agad. Pero ikaw, ginawa mo, imbes na ngayon mo siya i-email, in-email mo siya 2 weeks pa. After 2 weeks pa. So what will happen? The supplier will get mad. Okay? Or will have a conflict when it comes to their what they call this, products and services. Another example ng consider the urgency, you are a flight attendant. You are a cabin crew. Okay? And then, hindi ka makaka-duty doon sa assigned schedule mo due to some emergency. So, urgent yon. Kailangan mong mag-email agad or mag-notify agad doon sa head cabin crew mo. Pero hindi mo siya ginawa. So, what will happen? Mako-compromise yung flight operation kasi sino ang papalit sa'yo? Saan sila kukuha ng kapalit mo if hindi ka magbibigay agad ng urgent response? So, you consider always the urgency, the immediate attention. Next is think about the audience. When we say think about the audience, before you send an email or before you create a memo, lagi nating isipin, sino ba yung audience natin? Sino ba yung makakabasa nun? Ano ba yung mga possessions nila? Okay? For example, you're going to send an email to the president of the company. So, since president siya ng company, you have to make sure that your email is polite, professional, yung grammar, yung format ay tama. Kasi if hindi maayos yung isesend mong email, magkakaroon ng connotation na, ay, email pa lang, hindi niya na alam kung paano gawin. Paano pa to sa trabaho? Okay? That's why you have to always think the audience. Ano yung profile niya? Ano yung category niya? Before you send an email or a memo. Next, clarity is the key. When we say clarity is the key, be direct to the point. Huwag nang paligoy-ligoy pa. Okay, kung ano yung concern mo, kung ano yung request mo, kung ano yung kailangan mo, then say it direct to the point. Huwag na yung marami ka pang ini-insert na words or paligoy-ligoy ka pa doon sa email mo na hinaba-haba mo pa na 5 paragraphs na pwede namang 3 sentences lang siya. Okay, so you always clarify the details that you are sending to your audience. Next, what are the proper format of email messages? So, paano ba dapat tayo gumagawa ng email? Paano ba tayo dapat nag-email? One of the best example here, I am receiving emails to the students, especially when they are sending excuse letters, when they are asking permission, so on and so forth. Laging pag nagsisend, hello po, here po my activity. So, that's very unprofessional. O kaya, isesend lang yung attachment, pero walang kahit anong nakasulat. So, anong gagawin namin doon? That's why you have to follow the professional way of formatting of email messages. Now, these are some of the tips. First is your subject line. So, in a previous discussion, we already discussed ano ba yung subject line. Yung nakikita natin dun sa taas ng email, nakalagay subject. Ibig sabihin yung title nung email mo. Ano ba yon? Saan ba yon tungkol? So, be clear and concise. You summarize the email content in a few words. Maikli lang. Halimbawa, you're just going to submit your activity for IHM. Activity 2 na poster. So, ang subject line mo, it can be activity 2 poster for IHM. So, yun lang. Wala nang sobrang haba. So, example niyan is this one. So, meeting request, project update on October 10. Action required, feedback on proposal. Now, I'll give you the details. Create a subject line for these details. So, for example, you're going to follow up for your prelim grades breakdown. So, ano yung possible subject line ng thoughts na yon or ng request na yon? Anyone from the group? You want to follow up your prelim grade breakdown. So, how do you make it a subject line? What's the possible title? Anyone from the group? Atasha. Okay. Very good. Correct. So, that's simple. That's as simple as possible. The code, kung ano yung subject, prelim grade breakdown request or request for the prelim grade breakdown. Pag nabasa ko yon, alam ko na kung ano yung hinihingi mo. Hindi ko na kailangang masyado pang basahin yung nandun sa email body mo. So, that's how you created subject line. Be concise, be direct to the point, and be clear. Next, salutation. When we say salutation, as we discussed in a previous topics, use a proper greeting. Address the recipient properly. Okay? Be professional on all the time. Okay? So, these are some of the example. Dear, their name or their surname. Hi, para semi-formal. Hello, team, kung nag-a-address ka sa group mo or sa department mo. So, pwedeng Dear Miss Limos or kaya Hi, Ma'am Abby. Hello, team, uh, hello, team 209. So, that's how you address or that's how you create salutation. Meron akong nakikita, minsan ang email, walang salutation, diretso na agad dun sa gusto niyang sabihin. So that's very unprofessional. So you always put salutation kasi it shows you that you are respecting the receiver of that messages. Okay, and you are building connection to the people you are writing the messages. Next, body of the email. When we say body of the email, ito na mismo yung content ng gusto mong sabihin dun sa email mo, the details of the information. So, opening line, you start with a friendly introduction or reference to a previous conversation if applicable. For example, good morning, good evening, I hope this message finds you well. Okay? Or another example is a pleasant afternoon. A pleasant afternoon. Another example is greetings. Okay, so can anyone give me another example of opening line for the body of the email? Another example. Anyone from the group? May I call on Mr. Demagante? None? Okay, Prince. Sige, Mr. Demagante. What's the opening line? Sige, while waiting to Mr. Demagante, kay Princess muna. And then Eman, Santiago. Princess, you are muted. Okay, good. I hope your day has been pleasant. So that's good. Another one, Mr. Santiago. Okay, so very good. So, correct. So, ang gusto ni Mr. Santiago is connection or based on the previous discussion. So, pwede yon. So, good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I am hoping to connect with our previous topic discussion on our previous email. So, pwede din yon. So, that's how we do the opening line. So, bago mo sabihin yung mga iba pang further details, you create connection first with the receiver or with the audience. Okay? Next, main content. So, on the main contents, you have to make sure na your paragraphs are short for readability. Meaning, sino ba sa atin yung gustong magbasa ng pagkahaba-habang email? 'Di ba? So, make it short and concise. Also, you only highlight key points using bullet points or number list. I-breakdown mo kung ano yung mga gusto mong sabihin. So, or itanong. Huwag pa paragraph kasi nawawala yung attention ng reader sa sobrang haba. You make it bullet, you summarize it, you highlight your key points. Next is be concise and direct. So, lagi nating sinasabi, you avoid long sentences because everyone is so busy with their work and their lives and they do not much have time to read your long emails. Closing line include a call to action or closing thought. So, paano yung example ng closing line? So, after you mentioned all of the information, the details, your closing line can be, please let me know your thoughts by the end of the week. Another example is, looking forward to hearing from you. Okay? Or another example, anyone? Aside from that, what's the possible closing line that you can put in your email? Miss Lacson. Yes, as I mentioned. Good. How about Miss Mojica? Very good. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your responses. Next, Mr. Awarde. Mr. Awarde, I think. Okay, good. If you have further questions or anything concern, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, so those are some of the um, closing lines that you can use on your emails. Next is closing. So, ibig sabihin ng closing, your sign off. Okay, when we say sign off, use a professional closing phrase. Paano ba dapat? So, these are some of the example. Best regards. Sincerely. Thank you. Okay, so you always put your sign off and make sure that it is always professional. And then after that, sincerely, you include your full name and consider adding your job title and contact information beneath your name. So, for example, best regards, Christine Parazo, head cabin crew, Philippine Airlines. So, that's how you use closing sign off. Okay, next. Formatting elements. So, ito yung mga templates or elements that you need to take in consideration when you are writing your emails. The first one, class, is your font style. Okay, wag tayong gumamit ng mga English, French na font style na sobrang italicized na hindi mo na maintindihan. So, sa paggawa ng emails, ito yung lagi nating ginagamit na font style. Arial, Calibri, or Times New Roman. Okay? So, next is yung color. Okay? You stick to the black text. Okay? Laging black color yung ginagamit natin when we are writing formal email for professionalism. Sometimes there are student nakikita ko, Dear Ma'am Abby, kulay pink. Tas yung email body, ang kulay naman blue. Tas best regards, red. Tas yung pangalan niya, violet. Masakit sa mata, class. Okay, so you only use black color when you are writing emails unless meron kayong important details that you want to highlight there. So you can use other colors. But make sure that if you are going to use other colors, you use neutral colors. Huwag yung mga colorful colors. Okay? Like, meron yellow-green, yellow, ano pa ba? Violet, sky blue. When we say neutral colors, mga ano pa, mga shades of ano ba? Yung mostly ginagamit green, yung dark green or dark blue. Okay, but never ever use red font when you are writing an email. Why do you think so we prohibit using the red font when we are sending email? Anyone from the group? Bakit iniiwasan ang color red? Aliyah. Good. So, it's like a threat or para kang galit na hina-highlight mo yung words na gusto mong i-emphasize. So you remove the color red when you are writing an email. Next, bold and italics or italize. So you can use a bold for important points. Okay? Pero wag namang lahat ay naka-bold na kasi it also shows na para ka namang galit. And italics or italize for emphasis lang ng mga kailangan mong i-highlight. But don't use it so much. Okay? Wag naman lahat ay naka-italize na. So, ito, ang pagsulat ng emails are always should be professional. Okay, so these are the format elements for writing an email. So please remember this because you will follow this on your activity, which I will upload on our LMS. Next is spacing. Okay, leave a line of space between paragraphs for clarity. There are students when they are sending emails, dare-derecho, wala nang space. So, hindi mo na tuloy ma-categorize yung bawat thought. So, the rule of thumb when you are doing spacing, you always follow 1.5 spacing or 1 space per sentences. And per paragraph, you always put 1 space. So, tapos na isang paragraph, enter. So, doon na uli yung next paragraph. Okay? So, pero i-avoid nyo rin naman yung too much spacing na sobrang layo-layo na yung mga sentences at saka mga letters. Okay? Next is attachments. Okay? So when we are sending attachment, you mentioned or you highlight that you are sending an attachment. So please see attached file for your reference. Okay? Or another example is attach is the report for your review. And make sure that when you send an email na meron siyang attachment, ito madalas laging nakakalimutan i-attach yung document. Sabi doon, please see attached file. Pero walang naka-attach kasi nakalimutang i-attach. Okay, so please be mindful on attaching a document. And make sure that when you attach a document, tama yung file na sinesend nyo or ilalagay nyo. I am always encountering this when somebody is uploading their activity. Mali yung nalalagay na attachment. Tapos magme-message, ma'am, mali po yung na-attach ko na file. One time lang ako nag-aalaw magpa-submit dun sa drive bank. So, paano kung nasa trabaho kayo and very strict yung rules and regulations? What will happen? So, hindi mo na siya mababawi or hindi mo na siya mapapakiusapan. That's why before you send any documents, you double check, you triple check. Okay? Hindi namin siya tinuturo sa inyo para pahirapan kayo. We are teaching you this in order for you to learn to become professional. Because when you enter in the industry in the future, wala na dong, sorry po, ay okay lang yan. Hindi. Kaya hindi kayo bebabyhen sa industry. Okay, that's why now pa lang, you have to practice yourself writing an emails professionally and attaching a documents, checking the attachments. Okay? Next, proofreading. Okay, you check for errors. You always check for your grammar, your spelling, your punctuation errors. Okay, most of the times we experience here, sabi namin i-justified. Okay, when we say justified, yung papantay-pantayin nyo yung gilid. Ang daming nagsisend ng files, lahat nasa left side. Iba naman nasa right side. The rest nasa gitna. Okay, in order for your letter or for your email to become professional, you always justified your alignment. Dapat magkapantay ang mga letters from left to right. Okay? Especially your grammars, your spelling, and your punctuation errors. Kung saan tamang ilagay yung tuldok, saan tamang ilagay yung quit, yung apostrophe, so on and so forth. Okay? Because it shows how professional you are when you are sending your document. Next is you read aloud your emails before sending it para mas ma-retain sa isip nyo, ano kaya yung mali dito? Okay? Kasi the more that you read it aloud, the more that you can spot the mistakes or the awkward phrasing. Okay? Next is formatting naman tayo for memo. So what are the format that we should follow when we are creating a memo? The first one, class, is the heading. So Heading, it typically includes key information about the memo and it's often formatted as follows. So, ito dapat yung heading ng memo. To, ibig sabihin kanino naka-address yung memo. So, to cabin crew of Philippine Airlines. Okay, so, and job titles, nandun yun sa to. So, yun, to cabin crew of Philippine Airlines. Tas from kanino galing yung memo. So, the management of Philippine Airlines. Okay, date, kailan ginawa yung memo. Okay, so you put the dates. Subject, ano yung announcement? So, for example, is new sets of uniform for cabin crews. So, that's the subject or the subject line. Okay? Next is opening paragraph. So, you state briefly ano yung purpose ng memo. Example, this memo is to inform all staff about the upcoming team building activities scheduled for October 2024. So, this will be your opening paragraph. You already state ano yung purpose ng announcement. But briefly, nandito na agad yung details. So, yung memo ay tungkol sa team building na gaganapin sa October 2024. And sa body of the memo, you provide all the details clearly and concisely, short paragraphs for readability, and naka-bullet point siya. So, example, team building activity will include icebreaker games, group challenges, lunch provided for all participants. So, even though ganito lang siya kaikli, naibigay nyo na agad yung thoughts or naipakita nyo na agad yung gusto nyong iparating doon sa audience nyo. That's how you create a memo. Now, for the closing paragraph, how are you going to close the memo or the announcement? So you summarize all of the key points and include any items that need to have an action. Kung meron kayong gustong ipagawa sa kanila or i-comply nila, dito nyo yun ilalagay. So example, please RSVP by October 15, 2024 to confirm your participation. So, ibig sabihin, nire-request mo yung mga empleyado na dapat before October 15, nakapagsabi na kayo or nakapagpalista na kayo kung sasama kayo sa team building o hindi. Okay? That's the closing paragraph. For the signature, so you include your name dun sa dulo. So, from the management of the Philippine Airlines or from the management. Okay? Now, what are the formatting elements of the memo? So, kanina we discussed yung format for emails. Paano naman sa memo? So, ganun din. You use a standard easy-to-read font style such as Arial or Times New Roman. Yung font size class is 10 to 12 point size. Okay? So, ganito lang kalaki dapat yung font. Wag na sobrang laki or sobrang liit. So, ito lang yung standard natin. Margins. So, when we say margins, class, yung sa four corners of the paper, meron dapat 1 inch per side. So, sa bawat side, 1 inch dapat yung margin niya. Spacing, so leave space between paragraphs. So, as I mentioned, katulad ng email, single spacing ang pina-follow natin. So, this is the first paragraph, enter. Second paragraph naman. Okay? And you follow the alignment. So, katulad nga nung sinabi ko sa inyo, you always justify your alignment. Pantay-pantay dapat yung mga letters and yung mga sentences. Okay? Walang lahat nasa left side, walang lahat nasa right side. So, it should be balanced. Now, email and memo netiquette. When we say email and memo netiquette, ano ba yung mga do's and don'ts na dapat nating i-take in consideration when we are doing an email, when we are sending an email and memo? The first one, class, is use a professional email address. Baka meron pa dito, o pasintabi lang, baka may matamaan. Baka ang mga email nyo, meron pang bossmaldita@gmail.com. Because way back 2012, uso yun yung mga Jejemon email, diba? Pero during our time. But when I was working, may mga nare-receive kaming email, ganon. Um, Like, halimbawa, ano pa bang sample na email nun? Adventure25@gmail.com. Yung mga ganon. So, you use your professional email address. So, for example, glyza.enco@gmail.com. O kaya, emmanuelsantiago12@gmail.com. Yung mga ganon. Make it professional. Okay? Para pag nabasa naman ng employer or ng receiver, dun pa lang sa email nyo, makikita na nila that that you know to have a professional netiquette when it comes to emails and memo. Next, be mindful of the tone. Okay? Lalo na kapag merong mga student pag nagchat-chat sa akin, parang naguutos. Okay? Ma'am, wala man lang please or wala man lang pakisuyo. Parang kung mag-chat sila ay binili na nila yung pagkatao mo na ang chat niya, pwede bang i-adjust mo yung grade ko? Ganon. So, you be mindful of the tone. First one, who are you to chat and email that kind of tone to your receiver? So, it is very unprofessional. So, even though hindi ka naririnig ng receiver mo, the way you write your emails already dictate your professionalism. That's why be mindful of the tone of your emails. When you are writing emails, dear Miss Smith, hope you are doing well. I would like to follow up the concern about our department. So, nakikita niyo yung tone, it is very professional. But there are some emails pag na-receive nyo, hello, can you send me the memo? Ganun lang. Na parang naguutos siya na siya ay boss. So, be mindful of that tone and how you write your email. Okay, next is limit use of emojis and informal message. Emojis are not necessary on your emails and memo. Hindi siya messenger, hindi siya GC nyo, hindi yan um, chat GCs yung magtotropa. Okay, so you omit or you remove emojis. They do not need that. Hindi mo kailangang mag-send ng smile emojis para lang mapakita na you are professional. Okay, so remove all of those emojis. Informal language, yung mga salitang balbal na pangkanto, wag nyong isama yun dun sa emails nyo because your emails will become cheap and unprofessional. Okay? Next, use CC and BCC wisely. When do we use or what's the purpose of CC and BCC? Paano siya nagwo-work sa email? Class. Anyone from the group? Ano ang purpose ng CC at BCC sa email? And how it is working? Class 3 points sa midterm. Jedi. Jedi, we can't hear you. I think you have a problem in your microphone. Sige, while waiting for Jedi, Mr. Santiago. Very Okay, very good. Sa CC, when you CC, for example, si Emmanuel, siya yung sender, tas sinisi niya si Christine. So, si Christine, makikita siya nung pinagsenda ni Eman ng emails. Okay? Makikita siya ng lahat. Sa BCC, pag binisisi ni Eman si Christine, hindi makikita nung pinagsenda ni Eman na si Christine ay naka-BCC doon or naka-include din doon sa email. So, no one will see it, only Eman. But sa CC, anybody can see it. Okay? So, we use CC for the time wherein yung nilagay mong kasama doon ay concerned din doon sa email. Okay? Sa BCC, concerned din siya dun sa email, pero you do not want the other party to see that you copied that person to that email. Okay? So, but you use your CC and BCC wisely. Baka naman magpa-follow up ka lang, isi-CC mo pa yung boss mo. Okay? Or ibibcc mo pa. So, no need na. So, use CC and BCC sparingly. Okay? Next, respect privacy and confidentiality. So, what I am trying to say here is we already have the Data Privacy Act. If that email is very sensitive and confidential, okay, halimbawa si Glyza, HR manager siya, kunwari, magsasend siya ng termination letter kay Aliyah, for example. Kasi mate-terminate na si Aliyah. That's data privacy ni Aliyah. So, si Glyza as HR manager, wala dapat siyang sinisisi doon or binisisi. Okay? Kasi yun ay very sensitive information na dapat hindi pinapaalam sa iba. That's why you respect privacy and confidentiality. Meron naman very unprofessional pag naka-receive siya ng confidential email, ifo-forward niya sa friend niya or sa katrabaho niya. So that's very unprofessional. Okay? Don't do that. You respect the privacy of the receiver of your messages and emails and memos. Okay? Next, be prompt in your responses. Okay, kapag may na-receive kang emails, and as long as you already have the answer, you answer it right on the spot with urgency. Huwag mo nang patagalin na re-replyan mo pa in 2 weeks. Okay? On an average, we should reply to an email, pakitandaan, within 6 hours. Okay? Beyond 6 hours, wala ka ng sense of urgency nun. Unless, yung information na kailangan sa'yo ay very tedious or crucial, na it will take you days para mahanap mo yung informations na yon. Pero kung hindi naman, dapat within 6 hours, nakapag-reply ka na sa email. Next, respect others' time. Okay, when I say respect others' time, as I mentioned doon sa previous, naghihintay siya ng sagot eh. Nagfa-follow up siya sa'yo. Meron siyang kailangang information. And meron ka namang sagot na. Meron ka ng information. Why not email it right on time? Bakit patatagalin mo pa? Okay? Eh di madedelay din on his or on her part. Okay? So, sabi ko nga, everyone is always busy. Okay? That's why you have to respect each other's time. Next, be considerate. When we say be considerate, if they are asking for extension and kaya namang i-extend yung request via email, then extend it. And if hindi na kaya, then find an alternative or a solution on how are you going to solve that problem. And lastly, follow company policies. Okay? If nakalagay sa company policies nyo that your email address should be used for company purposes only, then use it for company purposes only. Huwag mong gamitin ang email mo sa resume mo. Tapos, lahat ng mga applications mo, doon ka magsasend gamit ang email ng company. Okay? You follow company policies. And that's the end of our discussion for this topic. Can you guys open your camera?